Hello boys and girls, I'm Karen Renfro-Gilgens and I work for the City of Kirkland at the Parks and Recreation, and today we're going to be making some chocolate chip pumpkin muffins, and we have quite a few ingredients, so I'm going to list them out here and you can see them in front of me so that you can get them together so that you can help me to make your own batch of chocolate chip muffins. Okay, so we've got chocolate chips, the most important one, and we're adding pumpkin because it is the season of pumpkins. So we're going to be doing pumpkin. We need a couple of eggs, farm fresh eggs, fresher the better, and we're going to need flour and sugar and baking soda, and yummy applesauce. Our spices are cinnamon and ground cloves and ground nutmeg. In other words, pumpkin spice. Okay, so we're going to be mixing our ingredients and then we're going to put them into a muffin tin. So we're going to line the muffin tin with our liners, make it easier for us to be able to serve them after they come out of the hot oven. So we're going to put this over here and start mixing our ingredients. We're going to be using a cup, a full cup, and we're also going to be using a half cup. And remember, you can find the numbers usually on the handles or on the bottom of your cups. So you can look for 1 cup and a half cup. And we're also going to be using measuring spoons. We need a tablespoon, a half tablespoon, and a quarter tablespoon. And those are the larger to the smaller. The easiest way to be able to remember between a tablespoon and a teaspoon, a table's much larger than a teacup, isn't it? So we're going to be using a tablespoon, which is the larger one, and a teaspoon for a smaller one. Okay, we're going to open our pumpkin so that we'll have it all ready to go. I hope you're going to like these flavors. I think you will, because it's got chocolate in it. Who doesn't like chocolate, right? And you mix that with pumpkin, it's really going to be yummy. Okay, so we have it all ready to go. Let's start our measuring. You might want to have a recipe. I just wrote mine very simply down on here, and we'll be including that in our time together. So we're going to start with 3/4 cups of sugar. Now we're going to use a half cup to measure the sugar into our bowl. And then we're going to use 1/4 cup because that equals 3/4 cup. Okay. Good. Now we're going to add our flour, and we need 1 1/2 cup of flour. And just regular flour, multi-purpose, works very well. But if you want to use the whole wheat flour or almond flour, that all works too. You may certainly do that. All right, so we need some more dry ingredients. We're going to put baking soda in there, like just 3/4 of a baking soda. Helps them nice and makes them nice and fluffy. And 1/4 cup because we needed 3/4. Alright, now we're going to put the yummy chocolate chips in here. I'm going to put, I like to use the semi-sweet chocolate because they're not too sweet because we have lots of other flavors in there with our sugar, so it's not over sweet. Okay, then we're going to use a spatula. You want to use the rounded edge part of the spatula. You're going to hold it like you're shaking hands with someone, even though we don't get to do that very much right now. All right, and we're going to stir this all up. Nice dry ingredients. And if you want to cheat and have an extra couple of chips, I think that's a good idea. We're going to put a few more. Because it is almost Halloween after all, right? So we need treats. Okay, so we have that all mixed together. Oh, I forgot. I need salt. Just a little bit of salt goes a long way. Where's my salt? Oh, there it is. Okay. You just need a little bit. So we're going to do a pinch of salt, just like in the middle of your hand. There we go. Now we got all of it. Now the spices. Yummy spices. Be sure, boys and girls, to smell your spices. So you can have all those yummy smells in your nose when you're cooking, because it's important. Ooh, that one's real strong, so you don't want to go too strong on the cloves, but you want just a little bit. We're going to have 1/4 each. The little spoon, the little tiny spoon. We're going to measure it out. Put that in there. And then we're going to do nutmeg. And you want to lift it up high so you can get the air in there to mix it thoroughly. And we're just going to do a couple of shakes of cloves, so not too clove. Because clove has a very strong scent and flavor, but we want it to be just the right amount. All right, those look like good dry ingredients. Now it's time for our wet ingredients. We're going to add applesauce today. And this is already a 1/2 cup, and we're going to use organic, non-sugar added. We're going to use just use 1/4 cup. That's all we need. We're going to add that to there. To the side. Now we need 2 eggs. We're going to be using brown eggs today, but you can use white ones too. You're going to crack your eggs, hold them very gently in your fingers, your thumb on the outside, finger on the inside, and just gently hit it so that it breaks and you hear 2 cracks. Then you're going to put your thumb on one side of the crack and the other thumb on this side of the crack, boys and girls, and then you're just going to gently pull it apart. So you do the same on this one. 2, thumb on this side. Don't push your fingers in it, just grab it and pull it through. And we're going to use our spatula to stir those together. You can use a whisk or a fork if you would like. We don't need them real beaten, so we're just going to stir them really thoroughly. And then mix them in. Oh! Sometimes that happens in cooking. All right, now then we need to add our water. We need a full 1/4 cup of water. Stir it up nice, and it's already starting to look really good. Need just a little more water so that it goes easily into our muffin tins. And now the pumpkin. It is our star of this muffin, along with the chocolate chips. And we need 3/4 of a cup. Okay, so we're going to do new spatula. We need just a half more. Can you smell it already? It's already starting to smell so good, and we haven't even gotten it in the oven yet. So we're going to be doing that just a few minutes. You want to preheat your oven before we got started. I put it on 400. And we need it on the bake. Now on the oven, you know there are 2 choices. You can either bake or broil in ovens. And bake is like when we bake a cake. Broil is like if you're going to broil a steak or some salmon or something like that. You want the heat from the top for broil, and you want the heat from the bottom when you're baking. So we're going to be baking at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. And while these are baking, we're going to read a story, because it's a fun time of the year to read about pumpkins. So we're going to put these into our really nice texture. We're going to scoop using a clean measuring cup. That works really, really well. And you don't want to fill them clear up, just about 3/4 of the time. Okay. I bet you can smell it over the filming. You think it smells good now? Wait till they're baking. Alright, we're almost there. This round. Then you can serve them to your friends and your family. I wouldn't wait for Halloween. You should do it anytime, because they're so delicious. And boys and girls, pumpkin is really good for us. It's very good for us. So it's high fiber, and it has lots of good nutrients in it that we need in our bodies. So the more you can figure out how to include it in your diet, the better you will be health-wise. Okay, I think we're going to make all of our cups. And then we will pop them in the oven, as I said, for 20 to 25 minutes. And the way you're going to know if it's done is after you have some help from mom or dad or a nanny or whoever's working with you. Then you can put a toothpick in one after 20 or 25 minutes to see if it comes out nice and clean. And if it does, that means they're ready to come out of the oven. Then let them cool, and then you can enjoy them. Okay, ready? I'm going to take them over here and put them in our oven. We're going to set our timer for 20 minutes, and we'll go from there. Okay, boys and girls, it's time to get our muffins out of our oven. So we had it at 400 degrees and we cooked them for 20 to 25 minutes. Ours were right at 25 minutes. Now let's take them out and test to see if they are done. Remember, we're going to use a toothpick. Ooh, look at those beautiful muffins. They smell as good as they look. All right, let's try this. It's clean. That means they are ready to be out of the oven. And soon they'll be cool enough for us to taste them and enjoy them with your family. So I hope you had a really good time making them and baking them and smelling them, and wait till you taste them. Okay, boys and girls, it's time to get our muffins out of our oven. So we had it at 400 degrees and we cooked them for 20 to 25 minutes. Ours were right at 25 minutes. Now let's take them out and test to see if they are done. Remember, we're going to use a toothpick. Ooh, look at those beautiful muffins. They smell as good as they look. All right, let's try this. It's clean. That means they are ready to be out of the oven. And soon they'll be cool enough for us to taste them and enjoy them with your family. So I hope you had a really good time making them and baking them and smelling them, and wait till you taste them. Okay, boys and girls, let's read a story to go along with all of our wonderful fall cooking. Today we're going to do Pumpkin Jack, written and illustrated by Will Hubble. When Tim carved his first pumpkin, it was fierce and funny and just perfect. A jack-o'-lantern this good deserved a name, so Tim gave it one, Jack. Long after the best trick-or-treat candy was eaten, Tim still kept Jack. At night, when a candle made Jack's face dance on the wall and filled the dark with warm pumpkin smells, Tim felt Jack was almost magic. Yet, too soon, the spell was broken. "This pumpkin is beginning to rot," announced Mom. "It's time to throw it out." Tim knew it was useless to argue. He carried Jack to the garden, which was filled with brown ghosts of last summer's plants. A dead garden is better than a trash can, thought Tim. Still, it made him sad to leave Jack outside and all alone. Whenever chores or play brought Tim to the garden, he looked at Jack. Every time Jack was different. He became wrinkled, and his fierce smile began to look silly. Mold spread over Jack's bright orange skin. As the days turned cooler, Jack grew flatter. Winter began. Soon Jack was hidden beneath snow, and Tim forgot about him. The cold, heavy jacket days came, snowman and sliding days, indoor days, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Valentine's. When all these days had passed and the March winds melted the snow, Tim found Jack. There wasn't much left, just a faded and crumpled pumpkin skin, a stem, and a few seeds. Jack's Halloween magic was a distant memory now. Tim scraped a thin blanket of earth over the last bits of his pumpkin. "Goodbye, Jack," he whispered. When spring turned barefoot warm, a tiny sprout appeared where Jack had been. Tim found it and guessed what it was. In the days that followed, Tim weeded and watered and watched the sprout. Slowly and steadily the plant changed and grew. It branched and spread a web of vines over the ground, but no pumpkins appeared. The days turned hot. Flowers opened on the plant each morning. Yellow stars that twisted shut forever in the afternoon. Still, there were no pumpkins. Finally, Tim found a little green ball growing behind a crumpled blossom. A pumpkin! Tim let out a whoop and ran to show his mom. By August, the plant had spilled onto the lawn, Tim's favorite game behind pumpkin hunting. He carefully waded among the leaves, searching for green pumpkins like hidden treasures. School began again and the days cooled. Tim had less time to visit the garden, and when he did, the pumpkin plant seemed tired. There were few new leaves, and the old tattered ones no longer hid the fat green pumpkins. Then one October morning, Tim woke to see frost coating the garden. The frozen plants seemed changed to pale blue glass. After school, Tim discovered what frost had done. The pumpkin's plant leaves were as limp as wet paper. It was dying. Tim searched among the withered leaves for the unripe pumpkins. He picked them and put them on the front porch, hoping for one more change. By Halloween, the pumpkins had ripened a bright orange. There were many, for the plant had been generous. Tim was generous too. He gave away all but one. From jack-o'-lantern to seed to pumpkin again, the circle was almost complete. Now it was time for Tim to do his part. He gave his pumpkin a face. It smiled at him in a fierce and funny way. Tim smiled too and said, "Welcome back, Jack." The end.